Hi guys, my name is Paul Benoit, and today we're going to be doing a video on the theaters of Atlanta. Let's take a visit and take an inside look at them. An inside look at the Alliance Theater here in Atlanta. Now the Alliance Theater is part of the Robert W. Woodruff Arts Center, which means it's one, a non-profit theater, and two, it's art for art's sake, which makes it a very unique theater. It's a regional theater. It's also very special for us because we're going to get an inside look at how a production is done, since the world premiere of Tuck Everlasting is premiering on Wednesday, January 21st. So this is a very special moment for us. Now, we're going to take an inside look at what happens backstage in the Alliance Theater with our production director, Mr. Victor Smith. Hi, Mr. Smith.
Hey, nice to see you, Paul. The Alliance Theater, proscenium house, seats 780, 200 seats in the balcony, 580 seats down in the orchestra. Has a large orchestra pit. It's a hydraulic elevator that is about 14 feet deep, 60 feet wide, travels from the stage floor down to the production level, which is 17 feet. The proscenium opening is 40 feet wide by 23 feet high. And this building was opened in 1968. It was, brutalist construction, so it's concrete walls everywhere, hard plaster ceiling. So all of the stuff that you see on the sides, the red draperies, the gold walls, the stuff in the gold treatments in the back of the house, and some other stuff are all, and the clouds overhead are all aftermarket acoustical adjustments.
Mm-hmm. I notice you have electrics. You have like front of house 1, front of house 2, and such.
Yep.
So these are your permanent fixtures, or is it that every trip that comes in here brings their own set of lights?
Well, we're a regional theater, so we're self-produced. So we typically don't have people bring stuff in. Mm-hmm. So we are creating everything that you see on stage here. So okay. Our scene shop built all the scenery. Our electrics department does all the lighting. Our sound department does all the sound. We build the costumes in the basement. And everything that you see is unique for this show. So the lighting, the sound, and the scenery are all completely taken out of the building when the show's over. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have a new set, new lighting plot, new sound plot, new costumes for the next show. You have questions?
Mainly about just sort of the technical aspects. How big is the stage and how wide, and about how many productions do you put on per year?
So as the Alliance Theater, we have 2 performance spaces. We have the Alliance Stage, which is a proscenium house, and we have the Hertz Theater, which is our black box reconfigurable seating space. We do about 12 shows a year, combination of the Alliance Stage, Hertz Stage. We do 2 theater for youth and audience productions every year, so 1 in the fall, 1 in the spring. And those are on the Alliance Stage typically. And the proscenium's, as I said, is 40 feet wide, 23 feet high. It's overall, the stage floor on the Alliance is about 100, almost 100 feet wide, including all the wing space. There's 59 line sets on 6-inch centers. It's 84 feet to the grid. Mm-hmm. And I always forget what the depth of the stage is. So it's written down on the wall up there. The orchestra pit is very large. We can see the huge orchestra, but typically we end up with somewhere between 8 and 12 players in the orchestra. And you can see that the orchestra pit right now has been sized down. So these seats, we would call pit seats, are actually over the orchestra pit on a structure that we built specifically for this show. And the designer is sitting in the center of the house with his lighting computer. The big board that's behind them is the actual lighting console. It's an ETC EOS.
Do you mind if we go see the light board?
No, we can see it. This is the TI version. This is the latest ETC version of the lighting package.
Great. And it controls every single one of these lights?
Yep.
And how many box booms do you have?
Well, there's truss. You can see the side trusses, and then these wing space booms are set up temporarily for this show. The front of house booms that you see stage right and stage left are installed specifically for this show.
For us here at the Alliance Theater, we wanted to thank Mr. Victor Smith for letting us be here in the Alliance, for showing us around, and just overall good time. I highly recommend coming and seeing Tuck Everlasting world premiere Wednesday, January 21st. Come watch it
Through February 4th, through February 22nd.
through February 22nd. Come watch it. You will not be disappointed. Now this is the Fox Theater, one of Atlanta's most famous theaters, and probably the most famous theater in the Southeast. The Fox attracts 750,000 people every single year to see shows such as Blue Man Group, Steve Winwood, Jeff Foxworthy, many others. In fact, the Fox was declared a National Historic Landmark on May 26, 1976. However, this 4,678-seat movie palace was not actually all that successful early on in its history. In fact, only after 2 years did the Fox declare bankruptcy. It didn't help that they opened 2 months before the stock market crash, however, on Christmas Day, 1929. For most of its history, the Fox was very shaky, unstable, didn't really have a straight direction. However, back in the late 60s, Southern Bell came up with a proposal in order to tear down the Fox and build its new headquarters here at this site. Now, the people of Atlanta rallied against it and actually made sure that the Fox stayed here. And today is under very successful direction. As you can see, this Proscenium Theater was not actually intended to be a theater at first. In fact, it was originally intended to be a Yarub Shrine Temple, the headquarters for a 5,000-member Shriners organization. The original architecture is divided into two styles, Islamic, as you can see here, and Egyptian architecture. The theater is impressive in that most of its original architecture and instruments still survive, such as the Mighty Mo, a 42-rank pipe organ with 3,622 pipes, making it the second largest pipe organ in the entire country. We're here with Tyler Scott, one of the production managers here at the Fox Theater. Scott, we were wondering if you could tell us about some of the technical aspects of the theater, such as the size of the stage or the lighting board, which hopefully we'll see in a minute.
Sure, yeah, I'd love to. So our theater is a proscenium house, which I know you've mentioned before. We do have a fire curtain, which lines somewhere in this line. It is a steel curtain that will come down and protect the audience from the fire if there is a fire on stage. From our fire curtain to our back wall is 34 feet 6 inches. Downstage of the fire curtain, you have 4 feet to the edge of the stage, and then our pit is about 20 feet to the center, something like that. We're 80 feet wide, proscenium wall to proscenium wall, and we're 32 to 33 feet tall from the floor to the edge of the proscenium.
Great.
Yeah, as far as the lighting board goes, it's an ETC Ion. If I'm correct, honestly, I don't deal with it that much, but we can go take a look at it if you'd like. It's right over this way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all great.
Yeah. So basically, this is the lighting.
Yeah, so we've got the ETC Ion. Now, one of the things I mentioned to you earlier today is that we are a roadhouse, which means that we don't actually have any of our lights in the air at all times. If a show comes in and needs our lights, we'll put our lights up. If a show comes in and needs our lighting board, we'll use our lighting board. Most Broadways, most rock shows, they'll come through and they have all their own gear. So we actually keep our house pretty empty. You can see it's empty right now. Newsies is loading in just a couple hours. And that's what they ask for. They just ask for an empty stage, something they can put all their lights up, their own lights, and use their own lighting board.
Great. Okay. Great.
All right, so one of the interesting things about the theater is that it's called the Fox Theater. It's called the Fox Theater because it was a movie palace that was leased by William Fox. An interesting thing is that William Fox had 3 theaters to his name. He had one in St. Louis, one in Detroit, and then the one here. He owned the one in St. Louis. He owned the one in Detroit. He leased the one here from the Shriners. It's interesting that the Shriners essentially kind of ran out of money, and so they were looking for a partner, and so William Fox partnered in, and you can see in the carpet there's F's and all the stars. On the seats there's also the F's. That's a replica of the original seat. But his wife, William Fox's wife, actually did the majority of the decor, not only the furniture, the carpets, the colors. She kind of came in and just made this her child. She just took care of it. So. Fantastic. All right, so we're a roadhouse here, so what that means is that we can accommodate pretty much any type of show that can fit into the space, and some that can't even fit into the space, we make it work. We do predominantly Broadway shows. We do 6 to 8 Broadway shows a year. We'll do concerts in here, anything from R&B, Anthony Hamilton, to Sam Smith was just in town, who was up for all the Grammy Awards, and just kind of anything like that. We've done dinners on stage. People will rent the stage and set up tables and kind of have this lovely theater as a backdrop to their dinner. And we'll do lectures. It's kind of a jack of all trades. And the fact that we do keep the house so clear, keep the theater so clear of all our technical instruments, it allows us to really flex the space to kind of whatever's coming in. Great. Yeah.
I just want to thank Tyler Scott for joining us on this tour of the Fox. It was absolutely incredible. And for everybody watching, I highly recommend coming to one of the shows this year. If you would like to see more behind-the-scenes footage, please click on the annotation or follow the link in the description below. I would like to thank Andrea Witta and Victor Smith from the Woodruff Arts Center for helping me complete this project, and Tyler Scott from the Fox Theater for also assisting this production. I would also like to thank Hal Buot for agreeing to accompany me and film, and thank you to you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.